Hello, ladies, and welcome to this week's episode of ChiroSecure's Empowering Women in Chiropractic. I'm your host, Dr. Kathy, and this week we are going to talk about something huge, something big, something that is so chiropractic. What is it? What could it be? It is this saying: you've got to stand for something or you'll fall for anything and be good for nothing. Listen, I see all these Facebook chat groups about all these questions about what do I do in my practice, and what if I'm getting burned out, and how do I get more people in, or how do I make an additional. I see all of it. And a lot of it comes down to, if you are not grounded in your philosophy, if you don't have a very strong philosophical base to stand on, if you do not know why you do what you do every day, it can get really hard to keep doing it. And when it gets hard to keep doing it, then your conversations in the office change. Then your attitude in the office changes. Then what you're thinking about and what you're doing with your staff starts to change. And it's less focused on chiropractic, and it can become more focused on the world. It can be more focused on social media. It can become more focused on the news. And there are some things that we have been taught all of our lives that you don't discuss, right? Politics and religion, you don't discuss. But yet patients bring them up. So what do you do in those situations? Now, again, we're saying sometimes you got to live by that truth. You've got to stand for something or you'll fall for anything and be good for nothing. But you also have to remember that if you get into a conversation with this patient who stands for purple polka dots, and the next person in the room over likes green stripes, and you're having a conversation out loud, well, you might be winning good graces with this person, but you might be losing that person. So be mindful about the conversations that you're having, because politics is a very, very divisive topic. I know I teach at the university and it comes up, and we often talk about, when people are students, they have one mindset. And then when they become business owners, they have a whole different mindset. When you're benefiting from taxes versus when you're paying taxes, right? And it changes your mindset. And it's a very divisive, very polarizing conversation. So sometimes in your office, you're going to have to go back to that golden rule of, you know what, if you can't say something nice, just don't say anything at all, which means don't discuss politics and religion. Or if you choose to, just accept that the consequences may be, I may attract more of these people, but I may lose all of those people. And if that's a direction that works for you because this is something you want to stand for, fantastic. The same goes with religion. If you want to have a conversation, you might attract people that agree with what you say, but you might lose people that disagree with what you're saying, or who have a different opinion or have a different mindset. So be aware of that, because standing for what you believe in is important. My hope is that in your practice, you are standing on the rock of chiropractic. You are standing on your philosophical basis. You are standing strong and you are standing firm, and you're not wavering with whatever's on the news. You're not wavering with whatever's on social media. You're not wavering with whatever new trendy virus is coming around today, or whatever new procedure is, touted as going to be the life-saving, life-giving, miracle that's coming around. What is it that you stand for? Have you ever gotten clear with that? Do you know? Like, what is it that really matters to you? If somebody were to say, money is not an object, patients will come to you at will, and you don't have to do all the work that you've been doing if only you would do this one thing. And this one thing is get really, really clear on why you do what you do. And if somebody said that to you and you really took it to heart and you said, okay, let me get really clear on, why am I a chiropractor? Why do I go to the office? Why do I wake up every day? Why do I try to educate my community? Why do I try to educate my patients? Why do I keep showing up? Why do I want patients to commit to care? If you got really, really clear for your purpose, your vision, your mission, and your why, and that could eliminate all money problems, all patient problems. People would get it. They would follow your recommendations. If you got really clear with that, what is your why? Why do you do what you do? Why did you go to school? Why did you miss funerals and weddings and birthdays and family events? Why did you put all that time, effort, energy, and money into studying to become a chiropractor? And why do you do it today? Why do you wake up in the middle of the night and adjust your kids, right? Why do you go to patients' houses and adjust them during labor or adjust their newborn babies? Why do you have kids or babies or parents or pregnant women or whoever it may be show up at your house in the middle of the night because they need an adjustment because they can't function without it? Why is that okay in our line of work? And why do other professions not do that, right? So, what is it that's so burning inside of you that you are so passionate about what we do? For me, it is that babies aren't pincushions, and no parent should ever have to bury a child due to SIDS, right? And I don't want kids experimented on. I don't want them pumped full of drugs to make them lifelong customers. I want every person, starting with my son and my daughter, and then everybody after that, right? I want every person to have the privilege, the right, and the opportunity to function freely without interference so that they can truly experience peak performance and have a long, wonderful, extraordinary life, right? When you get really clear on why do you do what you do, maybe it's because somebody wasn't there to help you. Maybe it's because you watched a family member overcome a great health challenge through chiropractic. Maybe it's because you watched someone suffer needlessly because they didn't know that chiropractic was an option. Maybe it's just because you said, wow, I never knew this was here. And now that I know, I want everybody to know, right? When you get really, really clear on why, what is your purpose? Why do you do what you do? And you stand on that, then the conversations that you have will be so much more beneficial to your community and so much more appropriate for your patients. So you won't be having the conversation about politics. You won't be having the conversation about religion. You won't be following whatever trend is going on social media or talking about the Australian break dancer in your practice unless you're relating it back to chiropractic, right? Man, if only she had been adjusted, she probably could have done that backflip. She wouldn't have been squirming around on the floor like a worm. She would have been like, oh, my spine's good. I can jump up. I can do this. I can function at my greatest level, right? If you're turning your conversations back toward chiropractic, yes, awesome. That's standing for something. But if we're allowing the social media, the radio, the TV, the conversation that's going on at your patient's water coolers to get into your office and dictate what you're going to be professing as a professional, then all of a sudden you're not standing for something, you're wavering. You're running around looking for somebody to save instead of standing tall like a lighthouse that just says, here I am. This is it. We are the beacon of hope. We are the ones that can save you. This is what we stand for. So get really, really clear on that, because if you haven't thought about that in a long time, or you feel like you're burned out, ladies, I see you out there. I see you talking about being burned out. I see you asking in desperation for help for what else can I do, or how else can I make money, or what can I do other than chiropractic. You know what? If that's where you're going and that's fine with you, great, no problem. If that's where your heart and your passion lies, then go for it. But if you've lost your spark for chiropractic, then what I want you to do is just get reconnected to why you went down this path in the first place. Why did you apply to go to school? Do you remember those days? Do you remember when you made that decision and you said, I'm going to become a chiropractor? Do you remember that? Because if you don't, you got to sit and look back and think. Maybe look through the yearbook, maybe look at old photos, maybe try to remember who you were in that point in your life, and get so reconnected with your why that it evokes emotion. There may be tears, there may be laughter, there may be joy, there may be like, oh God, I forgot about that. Or like, I've lost that. And if you lose that, then you're wavering, then you're running around, then you're talking about everything under the sun other than chiropractic. So get recommitted to why we do what we do, and what is your why? Why do you do this? And when you're so committed to your why that you're like, passionate and you're on fire, they say be on fire for chiropractic and people will come to watch you burn. Like, be so fired up and excited about this that now it just burns inside you, that you're like, yes, I need to share this with everybody. I need to explain this to everyone. Listen, I just had the privilege to host Dr. Stephanie Sullivan recently on one of the other webinars that I host. And we were talking about a project that she's been working on from the research department at Life University with Dr. Lona Cook, a fabulous woman chiropractor in our profession who I love so much, who has been taking care of children in a school system for several years now. And they're now doing research on that to show what is happening with these kids, what's going on with their biomarkers, what about their brain waves, what about their heartbeats. Like, it is so exciting that it just absolutely fired me back up with that vision of the big idea. What if every single person on the planet had access to chiropractic care? How would we vibrate at such a higher frequency? What would that look like for your community? What would that look like in your office? What would that look like for the world? Right. And so if you can find it inside of yourself to look backwards, look back, look at old photos, think about who you were, think about where you got to or how you got to that point. What was your why the day you decided to become a chiropractor? And what is your why now? It can't be about money. It can't be about volume. It can't be about having the biggest. No, it's not about that. It can't be about fame or, being famous in your. That's not what it's about. It's about why do you do what you do and getting so connected with that that you can stand on that you stand for something and you don't fall for anything and you don't become good for nothing. But in turn, you stand for something that makes you everything to everyone who needs you. And that is your entire community. So as you go into this next week or two, as we're coming into Labor Day weekend, I can't even believe, don't say that the summer's ending. It's not. We got another month. But as we're starting to wrap up this beautiful summer weather and we're starting to look forward toward the end of year, your staff might be talking about Halloween or Thanksgiving or Christmas or when are we closing for right? As you're starting to look forward to the end of the year and goals, and did we hit our markers and where are we going listen, stop. Take a breath, reconnect to your why right now. Be so on fire for chiropractic that your community is like, yes, that's my chiropractor. I go see her. I love bringing my family in. I can't wait to refer my teammates in or my coworkers in, right? Like, be that person that people in your community are proud to say, that's my doctor, right? And then you know that you are standing for something, being good for everything and great for everyone. And that's where we're going. Be the chiropractor that leads your community to a greater level of health. Ladies, it's always an honor to speak to you. It's always an honor to share with you. I look forward to seeing you somewhere along the line in a in-person event where I get to hug you and hear your stories and hear about your successes and your challenges and how you overcame them. Because when we hear other women's stories, it empowers us and gives us the oomph that we need to go out and do so much more and experience this great life that we get to experience because of chiropractic. Take care, ladies. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.
Join us each week as we bring you the best in business growth, practice management, social media marketing, networking, leadership, and lots more. If it's about women in practice and business, you'll hear it here. This has been a Chiro Secure production.